Hello there, and welcome to the AstroSleep channel. I am so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you have had a long day filled with noise and movement and demands on your time. Maybe the world felt a little too fast or a little too loud, but that is all behind you now. You have arrived at a sanctuary of sound. This is a place where time slows down, where the heavy gravity of your responsibilities begins to lift, and where you are free to simply exist. Tonight, we are going to embark on a journey that is both vast and incredibly still. We are leaving the solid, familiar ground of our home planet. We are going to drift outward, past the pale glow of the moon, past the rust-colored dust of Mars, and across the deep, velvet ocean of space to visit the King of Planets. We are traveling to Jupiter, but we are not going there to study it with the frantic energy of a scientist on a deadline. We are not going there to be startled by its storms or intimidated by its size. We are going to float alongside this ancient giant to watch its clouds turn in their eternal, hypnotic rhythm, and to find comfort in its immense, unwavering presence. There is a profound peace in things that are truly massive. The ocean is peaceful because it swallows the noise of the shore. A mountain is peaceful because it stands unmoved by the wind. And Jupiter, the oldest and greatest of our planetary siblings, offers us that same deep, grounding sense of stability. It is a world that has been spinning in the dark for billions of years, holding the rest of the solar system in balance with its gentle but powerful gravity. Before we begin this long drift, I want to invite you to join our community of dreamers. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too. And now, there is nothing left for you to do but rest. I want you to find a comfortable position. Adjust your pillows. Pull the blanket up until you feel warm and secure. Let your eyes close, shutting out the visual world, turning your attention inward. Take a deep, slow breath in. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest like a balloon inflating in slow motion. And then, release the breath. Let it flow out of you, carrying with it the tension of the day. Imagine that with every breath out, your body is becoming heavier and softer. Feel the muscles in your forehead smooth out, as if a cool hand has gently brushed away your worries. Let your jaw unhinge slightly, creating a small space between your teeth. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Feel a wave of relaxation travel down your neck and into your shoulders. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Let them sink into the mattress, as if the gravity here has suddenly increased, pulling you down into a warm embrace. Let that feeling of heaviness flow down your arms, past your elbows, all the way to your fingertips. Your hands are resting comfortably, open and still. Feel the softness in your chest and your stomach. There is no need to hold anything in. Just let your breath rise and fall, like the gentle tide of a calm sea. Feel your hips settle into the bed. Feel the large muscles of your legs relaxing, releasing their grip on the bone. Feel your knees soften, and feel that relaxation flow all the way down to your ankles and your toes. You are completely supported. You are safe. You are held. Now, in your mind's eye, imagine that you are becoming weightless. The bed beneath you is no longer a solid surface, but a soft cloud. You are lifting up, very gently, floating up through the ceiling, up into the cool night air. Below you, the lights of the city are fading. They look like scattered embers in a dying fire. The sounds of traffic, of voices, of machinery are fading away. replaced by the soothing hum of the wind. You are rising higher. The curve of the earth becomes visible, a glowing blue horizon against the darkness. The atmosphere thins, and the sky transitions from a deep indigo to the perfect endless black of space. Here, there is no noise. There is only silence, a silence that is thick and velvety, a silence that wraps around you like a heavy blanket. You are drifting away from the sun. The light is becoming softer, dimmer. The warmth of the inner solar system is left behind, replaced by a cool, crisp clarity. Ahead of us lies the asteroid belt. Imagine it not as a chaotic field of rocks, but as a slow-moving river of ancient stones. They turn silently in the dark, dancing their own slow waltz. We drift through them effortlessly, like a ghost passing through a mist. And there, in the distance, it begins to emerge. It starts as a bright star, the brightest object in the darkness, shining with a steady, creamy light. As we drift closer, it grows. It transforms from a point of light into a disk, and then into a world, Jupiter. It hangs in the void like a jewel. It is painted in bands of terracotta, amber, cream, and white. It does not look solid. It looks like a work of art that is constantly being painted, the brushstrokes moving and blending in real time. We are entering the realm of the giant. The gravity here is immense, but for us, it is a comforting anchor. We are caught in its embrace, pulled gently into an orbit that will carry us around this magnificent world. There is no rush to land. There is no need to touch the surface. We are simply here to observe, to float, and to let the slow, rhythmic turning of this massive planet lull us into a state of deep, dreamless sleep. As we approach, we can see the moons. They are like loyal attendants, circling their king. We see the faint, ethereal rings, delicate as spider webs caught in a sunbeam. We are so far from home, and yet we feel completely at home. The universe is not a cold place. It is a quiet place. It is a place where things exist on a scale of time that makes our worries feel incredibly small. You are part of this stillness. You are stardust observing stardust. You are the universe becoming aware of itself, and then, gently, closing its eyes to rest. Let us begin our observation. Let us drift closer to the clouds. We have left the scattered stones of the asteroid belt behind us. The path ahead is clear, open, and incredibly deep. We are drifting into the outer solar system, a region where the sun is no longer a blinding tyrant in the sky, but a distant, brilliant star. It is 5 times further away now than it was when we stood on Earth. The light here is softer. It does not strike with heat. It touches with a cool, silver clarity. And here, reigning over this twilight realm, is the giant. To understand Jupiter, we must first surrender our sense of scale. Our minds are accustomed to the dimensions of mountains, of oceans, of continents. But here, those measurements lose their meaning. Jupiter is not merely a planet. It is a world that borders on the impossible. It is the largest planet in our solar family, a sphere so vast that if you could open it up like a hollow shell, you could pour more than 1,000 Earths inside it and still have room for the moon. Imagine that for a moment. 1,000 worlds, 1,000 homes, 1,000 skies, all resting comfortably within the volume of this single, silent giant. Its mass is equally humbling. If you were to take every other planet in the solar system, Saturn with its glorious rings, the ice giants Uranus and Neptune, the rocky worlds of Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Earth, and combine them all together into a single ball, Jupiter would still be 2.5 times more massive than that combined world. It is the undisputed king of our planetary siblings, a heavy, grounding anchor that keeps the rest of the family in check. Yet, despite this immense weight, Jupiter is not a solid rock. It is not a hard, unyielding stone like the ground we walk on. It is composed of the very same stuff as the stars. It is made primarily of hydrogen, the lightest and simplest element in the universe, and helium, the noble gas that floats. Because of this, Jupiter exists in a state of beautiful ambiguity. It is a planet, yes, but in its heart, it dreams of being a star. Scientists tell us that if Jupiter had been born just a little larger, perhaps 75 times more massive, it might have ignited. The pressure at its core would have become great enough to fuse atoms, and it would have burst into light, becoming a second sun in our sky. But it did not. It stopped growing just before that threshold of fire. And so, it remains a failed star, as some astronomers might say. But tonight, let us call it a sleeping star. It did not choose the violent, burning life of a sun. Instead, it chose the quiet path. It kept its fuel cool. It kept its potential energy wrapped tightly within clouds. It settled into a long, dark slumber, glowing not with the harsh nuclear fire of fusion, but with the gentle, residual heat of its own formation. It radiates a warmth that comes from deep within, a soft thermal glow that it releases slowly into the cold vacuum, like a stone that still holds the warmth of the day, long after the sun has set. It is slowly contracting, shrinking by a fraction of a centimeter every year, settling deeper into its own gravity, a process of eternal relaxation that generates more heat than it receives from the distant sun. This massive presence creates a unique relationship with the sun itself. Usually, when we think of a solar system, we imagine the planets orbiting around the sun, like obedient children circling a parent. The sun sits still in the center, and the planets run around it. But Jupiter is too heavy for simple obedience. It is too massive to simply be pulled without pulling back. Jupiter exerts a gravitational influence so strong that it actually moves the sun. The center of gravity between Jupiter and the sun, the point around which they both pivot, is not inside the sun as it is for Earth. It is a point that lies out in empty space just above the sun's surface, about 1.68 solar radii from the center. This point is called the barycenter, and it means that Jupiter and the sun are engaged in a cosmic dance. As Jupiter moves through its long 12-year orbit, the sun also moves. The sun wobbles, swaying in a small, rhythmic circle, leaning back against the weight of the giant planet. They are like two dancers holding hands and spinning, one massive and bright, the other heavy and clouded, counterbalancing each other in the dark. This dance is slow. It takes 12 Earth years for Jupiter to complete just one single orbit around the star. 12 years of Earth's rushing history, of seasons changing, of lives unfolding, is just one single year for the giant. Imagine the patience of such a world. While we rush through our days, Jupiter drifts through its decades with unhurried grace. It moves through the vacuum with the confidence of something that knows its path is inevitable. And as it moves, it spins. Oh, how it spins. Despite its colossal size, Jupiter is the fastest spinning planet in the solar system. It completes a full rotation in just under 10 hours. This massive sphere of gas and liquid, this world that could swallow 1,000 Earths, spins its entire bulk around in less time than it takes for us to get a good night's sleep. But do not mistake this speed for chaos. In the frictionless environment of space, this rotation is smooth, it is seamless. The momentum causes the planet to bulge at the equator, making it wider in the middle than it is at the poles, giving it the shape of a slightly flattened sphere, like a comfortable cushion resting in the sky. This rapid rotation is what stretches the clouds into those famous, mesmerizing bands. It pulls the atmosphere into long, straight lines that wrap around the planet, parallel to the equator. It turns the weather into a work of art, painting stripes of white and ochre and rust across the face of the world. Let us drift a little closer now. We can feel the gravity of the giant reaching out to us. It is not a pulling sensation, really. It is more like a deepening. It is the feeling of entering a room that is quiet and vast. The gravity of Jupiter is strong, over 2.5 times the gravity of Earth. If we were to stand on its cloud tops, we would feel incredibly heavy, as if the planet were hugging us tight, refusing to let go. But here, floating in orbit, that gravity just feels like security. It holds the 67 moons in their places. It steers the asteroids. It perturbs the orbits of comets, sometimes drawing them in to protect the inner solar system, acting as a great cosmic shield. There is a theory that Jupiter acts as a vacuum cleaner for the solar system. Its immense gravity captures drifting debris, pulling dangerous rocks into its deep atmosphere, or flinging them out into the interstellar night, keeping the space around Earth safe and clear. It is a protector, a guardian, that stands at the gate of the outer solar system, catching the blows so that we do not have to. It has been doing this for billions of years, silently, without thanks, simply because that is what its nature dictates. As we look at the curve of the planet, we notice something else. It is not just a ball of gas. It has an architecture of layers, a hidden structure beneath those opaque clouds. We see the surface clouds, cold and thick with ammonia crystals, but beneath them lies a mystery. As we descend in our imagination, the atmosphere gets thicker. The hydrogen gas becomes compressed. It becomes dense, heavier than the deepest ocean water. Deeper still, the pressure becomes so unimaginable that the hydrogen changes its state entirely. It becomes a liquid metal. Yes, a metal. In the deep, dark interior of Jupiter, hydrogen flows like mercury. It conducts electricity. It churns and swirls in slow, heavy currents. This vast ocean of metallic hydrogen is the dynamo that powers Jupiter's magnetic field, a magnetic field 14 times stronger than Earth's. A force field so large that if we could see it with our naked eyes, it would appear larger than the full moon in our night sky. This magnetic field sings. It hums with radio waves. It captures particles from the sun and from its own volcanic moons, accelerating them, guiding them, turning them into ribbons of light. At the poles of the planet, huge auroras dance continuously. Unlike the auroras on Earth, which come and go with the solar storms, Jupiter's auroras are permanent. They are always there, crowning the giant with halos of electric blue and ultraviolet light, a crown that never fades. So here we have the architecture of our giant. A core of mystery, possibly dissolved and fuzzy, hidden under layers of metallic ocean, painted over with clouds of ammonia and water, spinning rapidly, yet orbiting slowly, dancing with the sun, yet ruling its own kingdom of moons. It is a world of contradictions that resolve into harmony. It is massive, yet made of the lightest elements. It is a failed star, yet the most powerful planet. It is stormy, yet from our vantage point, it looks perfectly still. As we drift here, suspended in the vacuum, we can feel the rhythm of that rotation. We can watch the great red spot, that ancient, unblinking eye, slowly rotating into view. it appears on the limb of the planet, a splash of deep crimson against the pale white bands. We are perfectly positioned to watch it pass. The architecture of Jupiter is not built of stone and steel. It is built of gravity and gas, of time and patience. It is a monument to the slow, heavy, beautiful laws of physics. And now that we understand the shape of this world, now that we have felt the weight of its presence, we can begin to look closer at the art it displays on its surface. We can begin to lose ourselves in the mesmerizing patterns of its atmosphere. The canvas is ready, the clouds are waiting. As we continue our slow, weightless drift, the sheer magnitude of the planet begins to fill our entire field of vision. The stars behind it are blocked out, replaced by a horizon that curves gently away into infinity. We are no longer looking at a planet. We are looking at a landscape. We are floating above a world that is made entirely of wind and color, a masterpiece of fluid dynamics painted on a canvas the size of 1,000 Earths. Let your eyes rest upon the surface. At first glance, it looks solid, like a polished stone of agate or jasper, banded with stripes of cream, burnt orange, rusted copper, and snowy white. But as we look closer, we realize that nothing here is static. Everything is in motion. The entire face of Jupiter is flowing. This is the canvas of clouds. What we are seeing is only the very top layer of the giant, a delicate skin of weather that is surprisingly thin. Scientists tell us that this visible cloud layer is only about 50 kilometers thick. It is a mere veil wrapped around the immense body of the planet. But it is within this veil that the most beautiful chemistry in the solar system takes place. The clouds here are not made of water vapor like the fluffy cumulus clouds of Earth. They are made of ammonia crystals. Imagine that for a moment. High up in this frigid atmosphere, the air freezes into tiny, glittering crystals of ice, creating a haze that reflects the sunlight with a soft pearlescent glow. These clouds are pulled and stretched by the planet's rapid rotation. Because Jupiter spins so fast, turning on its axis once every 10 hours, it drags its atmosphere along with it. But the atmosphere does not move all at one speed. It separates into distinct bands that flow in opposite directions, sliding past one another in a frictionless, eternal glide. We call these bands zones and belts. The lighter bands, the zones, are regions where gas is rising. It wells up from the deep, warm interior, cooling as it reaches the vacuum of space and freezing into those white ammonia crystals. They are like the crests of waves that never break, ribbons of white stretching for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The darker bands, the belts, are where the gas is sinking back down. Here the ammonia clouds melt away, and it is here that we see the colors that have captivated astronomers for centuries. We see shades of brick red, ochre, and brown. The source of these colors is one of Jupiter's enduring mysteries. We call the compounds that create them chromophores, or color bearers. They rise from the deep, hot heart of the planet, transparent and invisible at first. But when they reach the top of the atmosphere, they meet the ultraviolet light of the distant sun. In a slow, gentle process of cosmic alchemy, the sunlight interacts with these chemicals, baking them, changing their structure, turning them into these rich, warm hues. It is as if the sun is slowly developing a photograph, or a potter firing glaze in a kiln, turning the raw gases into a vibrant tapestry. The longer these compounds float in the sunlight, the redder they become. It is a slow suntan on a planetary scale. The deep reds are the old souls of the atmosphere, clouds that have drifted under the solar gaze for a long time, while the bright whites are fresh, new clouds just arriving from the depths. As we float here, we can see the boundary lines where these colored bands meet. It is not a straight, sharp line. It is a region of swirling, hypnotic eddies. The winds here move at different speeds, creating patterns that look like milk stirred into coffee or oil paints marbled on water. There are swirls within swirls, spirals that curl inward and dissolve, only to reform again. It is a chaotic system, yes, but from our vantage point, it looks like a perfect, rhythmic dance. It is the visual expression of fluid motion, soothing in its complexity. There is no beginning and no end to these patterns. They just flow, on and on around the world. And the texture of this world is not flat. If we look at the edge of the Terminator, the line where day meets night, we can see shadows. The Juno spacecraft has shown us that some clouds sit much higher than others. There are small, bright white clouds that pop up above the main deck, casting long, dark shadows onto the layer below. These are pop-up clouds, towering structures of pure white. They are likely made of water, ice, and ammonia, rising rapidly like thunderheads on a summer afternoon. They stand out in relief, giving the atmosphere a texture, a depth. It makes you realize that this is a three-dimensional kingdom. There are valleys of brown gas and mountains of white ice, landscapes that are constantly shifting and rebuilding themselves. In some places, deep beneath the upper haze, it is raining. But it is not a rain we would recognize. It rains mushballs, a slushy mixture of ammonia and water, like heavy, soft hail, falling silently into the darkness below. It creates a sense of coziness to imagine this, a silent, slow-motion snowstorm happening on a scale we can barely comprehend, tucked away beneath those beautiful blankets of color. The colors themselves seem to pulse gently. The bands are remarkably stable. They have kept their latitude for as long as we have been watching. But their widths can change, expanding and contracting over the years like the chest of a sleeping giant taking a slow breath. Sometimes the white zones grow wide and bright, covering the darker belts. Sometimes the colors deepen, as if the planet is changing its mood. But the rhythm remains, the rotation continues. The winds flow east, the winds flow west, passing each other in silence. We can see the faint blue hue towards the poles. Here, the atmosphere changes again. The neat bands break down into a different kind of beauty, a collection of cyclones that circle the poles in geometric patterns. But we will stay here at the equator for now, mesmerized by the stripes. It is hypnotic to watch. The motion is so consistent, so reliable. It reminds us that there are forces in the universe that are steady and enduring. We do not need to control them. We do not need to understand every equation that governs them. We just need to witness them. You can imagine yourself drifting along one of these currents. You are weightless, carried along by a wind that never stops. You are floating past islands of white ammonia ice, drifting over canyons of deep orange mist. There is no resistance. There is no friction. Just the smooth, endless glide of the jet stream. The light from the sun reflects off the clouds, creating a soft, diffused glow. It is not harsh. It is a twilight illumination, dim and restful. It is the perfect light for sleeping. And as we watch the clouds flow, we notice a disturbance in the pattern, a place where the bands curve and part, flowing around an obstacle. A massive oval shape begins to rise over the horizon, interrupting the straight lines with a curve of grand ancient proportions. It is the Great Watcher, the Eye of the Storm. But before we turn our full attention to it, let us take one last look at the canvas as a whole. A sphere of moving art, suspended in the black gallery of space. It is beautiful, it is silent, and it is waiting for us to drift closer. As we continue to float along the equator, carried by the invisible river of Jupiter's winds, the landscape ahead begins to change. The straight, orderly lines of the cloud bands are gently disrupted. They bend and curve, parting ways to make room for something monumental. Rising over the horizon is a shape that is instantly recognizable, a feature that has defined the face of this planet for as long as humans have had telescopes to see it. It is the Great Red Spot. But tonight, let us call it the Great Watcher. From our high vantage point, it does not look like a storm. It looks like a vast crimson island floating in a sea of white and cream. It is an oval of perfect geometry, a solitary eye looking back at the universe with a gaze that never blinks. It is immense. To understand its scale is to feel a sense of awe that borders on vertigo. This single swirling vortex is wide enough to swallow the entire Earth. You could take all the oceans of our home planet, all the continents, all the clouds, and every single person who has ever lived, and place them gently inside the boundaries of this spot, and there would still be room to spare. It is a world within a world, a kingdom of red wind that operates by its own ancient laws. It has been here for centuries. Astronomers first saw it in the 1600s, a dark blemish turning with the planet. It has watched the rise and fall of empires on Earth. It has witnessed the Industrial Revolution, the invention of flight, and the first steps of humanity into space. And through it all, it has simply continued to turn. It is a permanent feature of the Jovian sky, a testament to stability in a fluid environment. The color of the Watcher is a deep, rich terracotta, sometimes fading to a pale salmon, sometimes deepening to a brick red. It stands in stark contrast to the pale clouds that surround it. Scientists believe that this redness comes from the height of the storm. The Great Red Spot rises high above the surrounding cloud deck, pushing its head up into the thinner atmosphere. Here, at this great altitude, the chemical compounds, those mysterious chromophores, are exposed to the full, unfiltered power of the sun's ultraviolet light. It is a cosmic sunburn. The storm is basking in the starlight, and the light is changing it, painting it with these warm, ruddy hues. It creates a feeling of warmth in the cold vacuum, like a glowing ember in a pile of white ash. As we drift closer, we can see the motion. It rotates counterclockwise, a slow, majestic spin that takes about 6 Earth days to complete one full revolution. It is an anticyclone, a region of high pressure. While low-pressure storms on Earth spiral inward, this high-pressure mountain of air pushes outward, holding its ground against the crushing weight of the planet's atmosphere. It sits nestled between 2 powerful jet streams. To the north, the winds blow west. To the south, they blow east. The Great Red Spot rolls between them, like a ball bearing between 2 moving conveyor belts, kept in place by the shear force of the wind. It is a perfect balance of forces, a dynamic equilibrium that has held steady for hundreds of years. There is a hypnotic rhythm to its movement. The outer edge of the spot turns faster, while the center is calm and slow. It is like a mandala, a wheel within a wheel. If you were to stare at it long enough, you could sync your breathing to its rotation, in and out, turning and turning. It is not a violent, chaotic mess. It is a structured, elegant system. It absorbs smaller storms that drift too close, merging them into its own body, taking their energy and quieting them. It is the great pacifier of the southern hemisphere, gathering the turbulence and organizing it into a single, cohesive form. And though it is ancient, it is not unchanging. It is alive. Over the last century, astronomers have noticed that the Watcher is shrinking. It used to be much larger, wide enough to fit 3 Earths. Now, it is more compact. It is rounder. It is as if the storm is concentrating itself, pulling its energy inward, becoming denser and more focused. It is not disappearing. It is evolving. It is settling into a more comfortable shape for its old age. The Juno spacecraft, which has flown closer to Jupiter than any human object before, has given us a new way to see this storm. It has used its microwave instruments to peer below the red clouds, to see the roots of the Watcher, and what it found was depth. The Great Red Spot is not just a surface stain. It is a column of weather that extends deep down into the planet, reaching down over 300 kilometers below the cloud tops. That is deeper than the deepest ocean trenches on Earth. It is a chalice of wind. Interestingly, while the top of the storm is cold, rising high into the freeze of space, the roots are warm. Down in the depths, the storm is warmer than the surrounding atmosphere. It is fed by the internal heat of the planet, a column of warmth rising up to bloom in the cold upper sky. Imagine being inside that column, not in the winds at the edge, but in the very center, the eye. Here the winds die down. The roar of the outer wall fades to a distant whisper. You are floating in a cathedral of red mist. The light filtering down from above is dim and ruby-colored, like sunlight passing through stained glass. It is quiet here. It is safe. You are suspended in the heart of the giant, protected by a wall of wind that nothing can penetrate. You are riding the oldest storm in history, drifting across the face of the largest planet, and the Watcher is not alone. As we drift past the Great Red Spot, we might see a smaller companion following in its wake. This is Oval BA, or as some call it, Red Spot Junior. This younger storm was born before our eyes. Between the years 1998 and 2000, 3 smaller white storms collided and merged. They joined forces, spinning together until they formed a single, large oval. Then, like its older sibling, it began to turn red. It grew up. It ascended to the higher altitudes and accepted the touch of the sun. It is a reminder that the atmosphere of Jupiter is a place of creation. Storms here are not destructive events that come and go in a day. They are entities. They are born, they grow, they merge, and they travel. They have life cycles that last for centuries. There is a comforting thought in that longevity. On Earth, the weather changes every hour. Clouds form and dissolve before we can even name them. But here, a cloud can last for 10 generations. A storm can become a landmark, a permanent fixture in the geography of the sky. As we float past the Great Red Spot, we can look back at it. We see it receding into the distance, a red jewel set in a band of white gold. We can see the wake it leaves behind, the trails of turbulence that ripple out like the wake of a ship moving through a calm sea. It is a guardian of the sky. It watches the stars turn overhead. It watches the moons pass by in their silent orbits. It watches the seasons change, the slow 12-year shift of sunlight and shadow. It has no purpose other than to exist. It does not need to go anywhere. It does not need to achieve anything. It simply turns and turns and turns. And in its turning, there is a lesson for us. The lesson of endurance. The lesson of staying centered even when the winds are blowing at the edges. The lesson of letting the turbulence of the world spin around you while you remain calm and still in the middle. We are leaving the Great Watcher behind now. Its gravity has gently nudged us along our path, sending us further into the drift. The red color fades into the distance, blending back into the tapestry of the planet. But we carry the image of it with us. The image of that slow, silent wheel. The image of the warm roots reaching down into the dark. The image of a storm that has found peace with itself. The atmosphere around us begins to smooth out again. The turbulent wake of the spot settles into the steady, linear flow of the belts and zones. We are returning to the rhythmic, painted river of clouds. Ahead of us, the horizon is dark, but in that darkness, something is glowing. We are approaching the night side of Jupiter, and here, in the shadow of the giant, we will discover that the planet is not just a passive observer of the solar system. It is an active participant. It is a shield. It is a magnet. And it has a history that is written not in ink, but in the scars of cosmic collisions. We drift onward, weightless and weary, ready to uncover the story of the silent guardian. We drift now into the shadow of the giant. The bright painted bands of the day side slowly recede as we cross the terminator, the line that divides the light from the dark. Here, on the night side of Jupiter, the atmosphere does not sleep, but it changes. The colors turn to deep blues and charcoals, illuminated only by the faint, ghostly glow of lightning deep within the clouds and the shimmering halos of the auroras dancing at the poles. It is here, in the quiet of the Jovian night, that we can reflect on the true nature of this massive world. We have admired its beauty, its stripes, and its storms. But Jupiter is more than just a painting in the sky. It is a presence. It is a force. And for the small, fragile worlds of the inner solar system, for Mars, for Venus, and for our own blue Earth, Jupiter is a guardian. There is a story written in the history of the solar system, a story that unfolded not in the ancient forgotten past, but in the memory of our own lifetime. It is the story of a visitor, a lonely traveler named Shoemaker Levy. This was a comet, a wanderer from the cold outer reaches, captured by Jupiter's immense gravity. Usually, comets orbit the sun, swinging in long, lonely ellipses. But this one had been drawn in by the king. It had been pulled from its path, caught in a gravitational embrace that it could not escape. As it orbited the giant, the comet experienced the immense tidal forces of Jupiter. The gravity was so strong, so uneven, that it gently pulled the comet apart. It did not shatter it violently. Rather, it unstrung it. The comet broke into 21 separate fragments, lining up in a neat row like a string of pearls, or a caravan of travelers moving single file through the dark. In July of 1994, the world watched as this procession made its final journey. Astronomers on Earth pointed their telescopes toward the sky, waiting with bated breath. It was a moment of quiet anticipation, a realization that the universe is active and alive. But the impact itself, the moment of meeting, happened on the side of Jupiter facing away from us. It happened in the dark, hidden from the prying eyes of Earth, as if the planet wanted to keep this intimate moment to itself. But we were not entirely blind. The Galileo spacecraft, a robotic explorer sent from Earth, was there. It was drifting through space, perfectly positioned to witness the event from the side. It watched as the fragments entered the atmosphere, one by one. They did not strike solid ground, for there is no ground to strike. Instead, they plunged into the clouds. They fell into the deep, thickening mist, and as they fell, they released their energy. Great plumes of debris rose up from the cloud tops, towering 3,000 kilometers into space. These plumes were vast, dark, and mushroom-shaped, casting shadows over the cloud deck. For a brief moment, the temperature in the atmosphere spiked, the impact sites glowing with the heat of 30,000 degrees Celsius. But from our distance, drifting safely in our imagination, we do not feel the heat. We only see the light. We see 21 flashes in the darkness, 21 silent blooms of light, appearing and fading, like fireflies blinking in a summer garden. When Jupiter rotated, bringing the impact sites into view for the telescopes on Earth, we saw the aftermath. The comet had left its mark. There were dark, bruised spots on the atmosphere, scars that stood out starkly against the pale bands. Some of these dark spots were huge, larger than the diameter of the Earth itself. They remained there for months. They were reminders. They were symbols. Scientists looked at these scars and analyzed the debris. They found heavy elements like silicon, iron, and magnesium. They found water rising from the deep. But more than the chemistry, they found a realization. They realized that Jupiter acts as a cosmic vacuum cleaner. Because of its massive size and its powerful gravity, Jupiter attracts the stray rocks and comets of the solar system. It pulls them in, it clears the path, it takes the hits so that we do not have to. Imagine how many comets over the billions of years have been destined for the inner solar system, heading toward the warm, rocky worlds where life was trying to take hold. And imagine Jupiter sitting at the gate, gently nudging them off course, or drawing them into its own atmosphere. It receives thousands of times more impacts than Earth. It is a shield that is constantly battered, yet remains perfectly smooth and beautiful. The scars from Shoemaker leaving 9 eventually faded. The winds of Jupiter dispersed the dark material, mixing it into the endless bands of ammonia and hydrogen. The planet healed itself. It absorbed the visitor and returned to its state of equilibrium. This is the rare Earth hypothesis. The idea that without a giant neighbor like Jupiter to clean the neighborhood, life on Earth might never have had the peace and stability it needed to grow. So, as we look at this dark, majestic horizon, we feel a sense of gratitude. We are safe because the giant is here. We can sleep soundly in our beds on Earth because Jupiter is keeping watch in the dark. It is a silent sentinel, a big brother orbiting in the distance, catching the stones thrown by the cosmos. The darkness of the night side is not frightening. It is protective. It is a blanket. As we drift further, the dawn begins to break on the limb of the planet. A crescent of light appears, thin and brilliant, illuminating the haze of the upper atmosphere. The sun is rising again over the kingdom of clouds. But we are not going to stay with the planet itself. We are going to turn our gaze outward. We are going to look at the retinue of attendants that circled this king. Jupiter does not travel alone. It travels with a family. It holds 67 known moons in its gravity, and likely many more that are too small and shy to be seen. But there are 4 that stand out. 4 worlds that are large enough to be planets in their own right, discovered by Galileo 400 years ago. They are the Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. They are drifting into view now, suspended like jewels on a necklace. Each one is a unique world with its own personality, its own story, and its own secrets. We will visit them one by one. We will drift from the fire to the ice, from the magnetic king to the ancient cratered stone. We will see how they dance with their parent, locked in a rhythm that has played out for eons. The first one is approaching. It glows in the darkness, not with the reflection of the sun, but with a light from within. It is a world of color and heat, a world that is constantly reshaping itself. It is Io. Let us drift toward this fiery dancer and warm our hands by the light of its volcanoes. We leave the protective shadow of the giant behind us now, drifting outward along the invisible gravitational currents. The darkness of space is deep and enveloping, but ahead of us, a lantern is burning. We are approaching the innermost of the 4 great Galilean moons. We are approaching Io. If Jupiter is the king, regal and composed in his striped robes, then Io is the court jester, dressed in motley colors of vibrant yellow, rust red, white and black. It is a world that defies the gray, cratered monotony of the other moons in the solar system. It is a world that is alive with color, a celestial canvas that is constantly being painted over and renewed. As we drift closer, the first thing we notice is the absence of craters. On almost every other ancient body in the solar system, our own moon, Mercury, Callisto, the surface is pockmarked with the scars of billions of years of cosmic impacts. But Io is smooth. Its skin is fresh. It looks like a polished marble of sulfur and silicate rock, gleaming in the sunlight. This is not a dead world frozen in time. This is a world in a constant state of rebirth. Io orbits perilously close to Jupiter, hovering just 350,000 kilometers above the swirling cloud tops. From the surface of Io, Jupiter would dominate the sky, appearing 39 times larger than the full moon looks from Earth. Imagine standing on that colorful ground and looking up to see the vast, banded face of the giant filling your entire vision, a wall of clouds that stretches from horizon to horizon. But this closeness comes with a price, or perhaps a gift. Io is caught in a gravitational tug-of-war that never ends. On one side, the immense gravity of Jupiter pulls it inward. On the other side, its sibling moons, Europa and Ganymede, pull it outward. These 3 moons dance in a perfect mathematical rhythm known as an orbital resonance. For every 4 times Io circles Jupiter, Europa circles twice, and Ganymede circles once. This precise timing means that Io is constantly being rhythmic squeezed and stretched. Imagine holding a piece of clay in your warm hands. If you squeeze it and knead it and stretch it, the clay becomes warm. It becomes soft. This is exactly what is happening to Io, but on a planetary scale. The solid ground of this moon rises and falls by as much as 100 meters every single orbit. On Earth, our ocean tides rise only a few meters, but on Io the solid rock heaves up and down like the chest of a sleeping giant taking a deep, heavy breath. And friction creates heat. So, while the surface of Io is cold, exposed to the vacuum of space, its heart is hot. It is molten. It is a world of fire wrapped in a shell of ice and sulfur, and this internal fire must find a way out. This is why Io is the most volcanically active body in the entire solar system. As we float above its equator, we can see them. They are not violent explosions that shatter the peace. From this distance, they are silent, majestic fountains. We see plumes of sulfur and sulfur dioxide rising effortlessly from the surface. In the low gravity of the moon, these plumes can soar 300 kilometers into the sky, climbing higher than the atmosphere of Earth, reaching up like ghostly fingers, trying to touch the stars. One of the most famous volcanoes is named Pele. We can see its plume spreading out like a giant umbrella, depositing a ring of red material around its base. This red color comes from the sulfur, changing its structure under the radiation of space, creating a beautiful ruby-colored halo on the yellow ground. Elsewhere we see Tavastar, a volcano that sends jets of lava high above the surface. We might imagine lava as something destructive, but here it is a creative force. It is the blood of the moon, bringing new material to the surface, covering the old scars, smoothing out the wrinkles of age. And then there are the lakes. Io does not have craters, but it has patera, vast depression craters that are filled not with water, but with liquid lava. The largest of these is Loki Patera, a lake of molten rock that is 200 kilometers wide. Imagine drifting over Loki. The surface of the lake is dark, covered by a thin, cooling crust of obsidian glass. It looks like a frozen pond at night, but every now and then the crust breaks. It founders and sinks into the liquid below, and when it does, the fresh, glowing lava is revealed. It shines with a brilliant golden light, a sudden window into the hot interior of the moon. The heat radiates outward, a wave of warmth that ripples through the vacuum. It is a mesmerizing cycle. The crust forms, the crust sinks, the light glows, and the darkness returns. It is the heartbeat of Io, visible to anyone patient enough to watch. But the dance of Io is not just about fire and rock, it is also about electricity. This moon is not isolated. It is connected to Jupiter by an invisible, powerful bond. As Io's volcanoes erupt, they spew tons of material into space every second. These particles, sulfur and oxygen ions, do not just drift away. They are caught by Jupiter's spinning magnetic field. They form a vast invisible donut shape around the planet, called the plasma torus. Io orbits right through the middle of this torus, moving through a river of charged particles. This interaction creates a powerful electric current. It is called the Io flux tube. Imagine a gigantic invisible cable connecting the north and south poles of Jupiter directly to Io. A current of millions of amps flows through this tube, tethering the moon to the planet. We cannot see this current with our eyes, but we can see its footprint. If we look back at Jupiter, at the dark polar regions, we can see a bright spot in the aurora, a glowing footprint that moves as Io moves. It is as if Io is holding a flashlight and shining it down onto the clouds of Jupiter, painting a swirling trail of light as it orbits. It is a relationship of profound intimacy. The moon feeds the planet's magnetosphere with particles. The planet warms the moon with gravity. They are locked together, influencing each other, lighting up each other's skies. Even the auroras on Io itself are unique. On the night side of the moon, where the sun does not shine, the thin atmosphere glows. We see shimmering curtains of blue from the sulfur and red from the oxygen. They dance silently over the volcanoes, a display of light that rivals the most beautiful northern lights on Earth. Drifting here, bathed in the soft glow of this volcanic world, we do not feel danger. We feel a sense of wonder at the diversity of the cosmos. We often think of space as cold and dead, a place of frozen rocks and ice. But Io reminds us that there is warmth in the dark. It reminds us that even a small world can have a fiery heart. It reminds us that gravity is not just a force that holds things down. It is a force that creates energy, a force that keeps a world alive. The colors of Io, The vivid yellows of sulfur, the white frosts of sulfur dioxide, the blacks of cooling lava, and the reds of radiation blend together like an abstract painting. It is a masterpiece of geology, suspended in the void. As we watch a plume from the volcano Prometheus rise slowly, spreading out into a canopy of dust, we can feel our own breathing slowing down to match it. The plume takes minutes, even hours, to unfurl. Everything here happens with a slow, deliberate grace. The low gravity allows the dust to float, to hang in the sky like a suspended thought. We are witnessing the universe breathing. Inhale the energy of the tide. Exhale the plume of the volcano. Inhale the gravity. Exhale the light. It is time to leave this vibrant, restless world behind. We have warmed ourselves by its fire, and now we must travel further outward. We are moving away from the heat, away from the sulfur and the stone. We are drifting toward a world that is the complete opposite of Io. Where Io is fire, this next world is ice. Where Io is yellow and red, this next world is white and blue. Where Io wears its heart on its sleeve, spewing its secrets into space, this next world keeps its secrets hidden deep, locked away beneath a shell. We are setting our course for the sleeping beauty of the solar system. We are drifting toward Europa. But before we go, take one last look at the lantern of Io, glowing steadily against the backdrop of the giant. A small, brave spark of warmth in the infinite night. Good night, Io. We are drifting away from the warmth of Io now. The glow of the volcanoes fades behind us, shrinking into a single golden ember in the distance. We turn our gaze outward toward the next jewel in the Galilean necklace. The heat of the fire is replaced by a refreshing crystalline cool. The darkness around us seems to deepen, becoming cleaner, sharper. Ahead of us hangs a world of pure white. It gleams in the sunlight with a brilliance that rivals the polar caps of Earth. It is Europa. If Io is a painting of fire and sulfur, then Europa is a sculpture of ice. It is the smoothest object in the solar system. From where we float, it looks like a perfect sphere of cracked porcelain, or a pearl that has been rolled in the hands of a giant until it is flawlessly round. There are no mountains here to break the horizon, no deep basins to mar the curve. There are only vast, endless plains of ice stretching out in every direction, silent and serene. It is beautiful, but it is a beauty born of cold. The surface temperature here drops to minus 220 degrees Celsius. It is so cold that the ice does not behave like the ice we know on Earth. It is as hard as granite. If you were to step onto its surface, your boots would ring against it, as if you were walking on stone. But as we look closer at this frozen shell, we see that it is not empty, it is written upon. The surface is crisscrossed by an intricate network of lines. We call them linear. They look like the veins in a leaf, or the fine cracks in an antique glaze. They run for thousands of kilometers, intersecting and overlapping in a complex geometric pattern. Some are dark and reddish-brown, painted with salts and sulfur that have welled up from below and been touched by the radiation of Jupiter. These lines tell us a story. They tell us that this world is not solid all the way through. They tell us that the shell is floating. Imagine a vast frozen crust, 10 to 20 kilometers thick. It feels immovable, solid, and permanent. But beneath that crust lies the greatest secret in the solar system. There is an ocean, hidden away from the sun, hidden from the vacuum, protected by the thickest blanket of ice imaginable, lies a global sea of liquid salt water. It wraps around the entire moon. It is deep, perhaps 100 kilometers deep. That is 10 times deeper than the deepest trench in our own Pacific Ocean. This single moon, smaller than Earth's moon, holds twice as much water as all of Earth's oceans combined. Just think of that for a moment. A world of water floating in the dark. Let us, in our imagination, pass through the ice. We drift down, sinking effortlessly through the frozen layers. The light of the sun fades above us, turning from blinding white to a soft, translucent blue, and then, finally, to black. It is the comforting, enveloping darkness of a womb. We emerge into the water. It is not frozen here. It is liquid. It is warm. How can water remain liquid so far from the sun? The answer, once again, is the dance. Just like Io, Europa is caught in the rhythmic gravitational tug of Jupiter and its sibling moons. As it orbits, the moon is flexed. The rock and the ice are squeezed and released, over and over again. But where this friction turns rock into magma on Io, here it turns ice into water. It keeps the heart of the moon beating with a gentle geothermal warmth. Down here, in the dark, the water is salty, rich with minerals. It flows in slow, global currents. It touches the rocky mantle below, dissolving salts, perhaps interacting with hydrothermal vents on the seafloor. We can imagine these vents as chimneys in the deep, releasing heat and nutrients into the water, creating small oases of warmth in the abyss. On Earth, in the deepest, darkest parts of our oceans, life flourishes around these vents. Tube worms, crabs, and ancient bacteria live there, fueled not by the sun, but by the chemistry of the planet itself. And so, we wonder, could there be life here? Sleeping in the dark? We do not speak of sea monsters or complex civilizations. We speak of something quieter. Perhaps single-celled organisms, drifting in the currents. Perhaps simple microbial life, clinging to the rocks, living out their existence in a world that has never known a sunrise, a world that is perfectly stable. Europa is a cosmic egg. The shell protects the interior from the harsh radiation of space, from the cold, and from the impacts of comets. Inside, the conditions for life, water, chemistry, energy, have been preserved for billions of years. It is a sanctuary. We rise back up through the water, back through the ice, returning to the surface. Even here, on the outside, there are signs that the ocean is breathing. The Hubble Space Telescope has seen faint plumes of water vapor venting from the South Pole. The moon is exhaling. Every now and then, the ice cracks open just enough to let a mist of water escape into space, a whisper from the deep. And there is something else, something hauntingly beautiful about this world. Scientists believe that Europa may glow in the dark. The radiation from Jupiter, which is so deadly to us, pelts the icy surface. The energy from these particles excites the molecules of the ice, causing them to release light. If we were to float on the night side of Europa, looking down, we might see the ground beneath us shimmering with a faint green or blue light. It is a bioluminescence of stone and ice. The saltier parts of the ice would glow differently than the pure ice, painting the dark side of the moon in shifting patterns of light. It is a lighthouse in the dark, signaling its presence to the void. We look at Europa now with a sense of reverence. It is a world of hidden depth. It reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. The cold, hard shell is just a mask. Underneath, there is warmth. Underneath, there is movement. Underneath, there is the potential for life. Humanity has heard the call of this ocean. We are sending our emissaries. The Europa Clipper mission from NASA and the JUICE mission from the European Space Agency are on their way or being prepared. They will not land. They will orbit. They will listen. They will use radar to look through the ice, to map the depths, to taste the plumes. They are like travelers pressing their ears against a door, trying to hear the sounds of the party inside. But for tonight, the door remains closed. The ocean remains undisturbed. Europa spins slowly in the twilight, a silent, white guardian of its own secrets. It feels safe to know it is there. A reservoir of water, kept safe in a vault of diamond-hard ice. A reminder that the universe protects its most precious creations. We drift on. The gravity of Jupiter gently hands us over to the next move. We are leaving the smooth plains of Europa and heading toward a giant. We are heading toward a world that is so large it challenges the definition of what a moon can be. We are heading toward Ganymede. Let the white sphere of Europa recede. Let the glow of its ice fade into a star-like point. We are moving from the mystery of the deep ocean to the mystery of the magnetic field. Drift with me now, deeper into the system. We have drifted past the fire of Io and the ice of Europa, moving deeper into the gravitational embrace of the giant. The path ahead widens. The space feels more open, more majestic. And there, rising from the darkness like a sovereign ruler claiming his throne, is Ganymede. If Jupiter is the king of planets, then Ganymede is the king of moons. It is impossible to overstate the grandeur of this world. It is the largest moon in the entire solar system. It is a behemoth of rock and ice, so massive that it exceeds the size of the planet Mercury. If Ganymede were to break free from Jupiter's hold and orbit the Sun on its own, we would not hesitate to call it a planet. It has the dignity, the size, and the complexity of a full-fledged world. But here it remains, a loyal companion to the gas giant, completing its orbit once every 7 days in a wide, sweeping arc. As we float toward it, the first thing we notice is its face. It does not have the uniform smoothness of Europa, nor the vivid, painting-like quality of Io. Ganymede looks like an ancient map, a parchment that has been written on, erased and written on again over billions of years. The surface is a patchwork of two distinct terrains. There are the dark regions, vast areas of dusty, cratered ice that cover about a third of the moon. These are the oldest parts of Ganymede, the original crust that has survived the bombardment of eons. They are the history books, preserving the memory of every asteroid and comet that has ever crossed its path. And then, cutting through these dark lands, are the light regions. These are brighter, younger landscapes covering the remaining 2/3 of the moon. They are filled with strange parallel grooves and ridges. Imagine great furrows plowed by a cosmic hand, stretching for thousands of kilometers. These ridges can be hundreds of meters high, created by tectonic forces that pulled the icy crust apart and pushed it back together in the distant past. It gives the moon a textured, rugged appearance. It looks like a world that has lived a long, full life. It looks like a world with character. But the true wonder of Ganymede is not what we can see with our eyes. It is what we can feel with our instruments. It is what we can hear in the radio waves. Ganymede is singing. Deep within this moon lies a secret that sets it apart from every other moon in the solar system. it has a heart of liquid iron. And because that iron core is still hot, still moving, still churning, Ganymede generates its own magnetic field. This is unique. No other moon has this power. Not Titan, not our own moon, not Callisto. Ganymede is the only one that has forged its own protective shield against the cosmos. Imagine a bubble within a bubble. Jupiter has its own massive, powerful magnetosphere, a giant envelope of influence. And nestled inside that giant envelope, Ganymede creates a smaller, personal sphere of magnetism. It pushes back against the giant. It carves out a tiny sanctuary of its own in the violent wash of Jupiter's radiation. This magnetic field is like a song. It hums with energy. And just like Earth and Jupiter, this magnetic field creates auroras. If we were to drift over the poles of Ganymede, we would see them. Glowing bands of ultraviolet light dancing silently over the icy ridges. But there is something poetic about the way they move. Because Ganymede is embedded in Jupiter's own magnetic field, its auroras are affected by the giant. They rock back and forth. They sway. Astronomers watching these rocking auroras realized something profound. The swaying was not as wide as it should have been. Something was dampening the movement. Something inside the moon was resisting the magnetic pull of Jupiter. That resistance was the signature of a hidden ocean. Just like Europa, Ganymede is an ocean world, but the ocean here is different. It is vast, containing more water than all the oceans of Earth combined. It lies buried under a crust of ice that is 150 kilometers thick. Because Ganymede is so large and the pressure is so intense, scientists used to think the ocean might be trapped between layers of ice. Imagine a club sandwich of worlds, a layer of ice, a layer of water, another layer of high-pressure ice, and then more water. However, newer models suggest the ocean might be salty enough to stay liquid all the way down to the rocky floor. This is a crucial detail. If the water touches the rock, then minerals can dissolve. Chemical reactions can happen. The ingredients for life, energy, water, and chemistry might be mixing in the dark depths of this magnetic king. We drift lower now, imagining ourselves moving over the lighter terrain. We see the grooves up close. They look like frozen waves, a sea of ice that was caught in a storm and solidified in an instant. The sunlight here is weak, but it glints off the edges of the ridges, creating a stark, high-contrast landscape of black shadows and bright white peaks. There is a sense of immense weight here. Ganymede is a heavy world. Its gravity is strong enough to hold on to a very thin atmosphere of oxygen. It is not enough to breathe, but it is there, a whisper of air clinging to the ice. And recently, we have learned that there is water vapor here, too. The sun warms the ice just enough near the equator for it to sublimate, releasing a faint mist of water molecules that drift into the thin sky. Ganymede is a bridge between a moon and a planet. It challenges our definitions. It reminds us that size is not the only measure of greatness. It is the complexity within that matters. We can feel the connection this moon has to its siblings. Remember the dance? The orbital resonance? Every time Ganymede completes one orbit, Europa completes 2, and Io completes 4. This rhythm, this 1-2-4 beat, is the metronome of the Jovian system. Ganymede is the conductor of this orchestra. Its gravity combined with Jupiter's keeps the other moons in time. It keeps Io's volcanoes erupting. It keeps Europa's ocean liquid. It is the elder sibling, the stabilizer. It moves with a slow, deliberate cadence, anchoring the chaotic energy of the inner moons. In the future, we will return here. The European Space Agency's JUICE mission, the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, is on its way. It will enter orbit around Ganymede, becoming the first spacecraft to ever orbit a moon other than our own. It will spend years circling this magnetic king, using radar to peer through the ice, listening to the hum of the magnetic field, mapping the depths of the ocean. But for now, Ganymede waits. It spins in the dark, protected by its own shield, holding its ocean safe beneath a fortress of ice. There is a deep comfort in the idea of layers. The layer of rock, the layer of water, the layer of ice, the layer of atmosphere, the layer of magnetism. Ganymede is wrapped in protection. It is a world that has built walls against the cold and the radiation, creating a safe haven deep inside. As you listen to this, imagine yourself wrapped in those same layers, wrapped in the warmth of your blankets, wrapped in the safety of your room, wrapped in the quiet of the night. You are as protected as the core of Ganymede. Nothing can disturb you. You are safe to drift, safe to dream. We let the magnetic king continue his song. We let his auroras dance their silent, swaying dance. We allow gravity to carry us further outward, to the edge of the main system. We have one more stop in this family of 4. We are heading to the outermost moon, to the witness, to the silent, scarred historian of the solar system. We are heading to Callisto. Drift with me now, away from the magnetic hum into the deep, quiet silence of the outer rim. We have traveled far now. We have left the churning storms of Jupiter behind. We have passed the fiery lantern of Io, the icy shell of Europa, and the magnetic shield of Ganymede. We are drifting outward, moving toward the edge of the king's domain. The gravity of the giant is softer here, a gentle tether rather than a tight grip. The radiation that sizzles in the inner system has faded to a harmless whisper. We are entering a region of profound silence, and here, waiting for us in the deep twilight, is the final member of the family. We are approaching Callisto. If the other moons are the vibrant children of the system, full of fire, ocean currents, and magnetic songs, then Callisto is the grandmother. She is the Ancient One. She is the witness who has seen it all and kept the memory of every moment etched into her skin. As we drift closer, the first thing we notice is how different she looks. She is not bright white like Europa, nor colorful like Io. Callisto is darker, a mix of charcoal and ice. But she is not plain. Her surface is sparkling. She is covered in thousands upon thousands of bright white speckles, like diamond dust scattered on black velvet. These speckles are craters. Callisto is the most heavily cratered object in the entire solar system. Every inch of her surface is covered in ring upon ring, a record of cosmic impacts stretching back 4 billion years. There is no wind here to erode them. There are no volcanoes to cover them with lava. There are no tectonic plates shifting to swallow them up. On Earth, the rain and the wind and the forests wash away our history. We forget the scars of the past, but Callisto remembers. She has preserved the history of the early solar system with perfect, frozen clarity. Scientists call her surface saturated. This means that if a new meteor were to strike Callisto today, it would have to erase an old crater to make room for the new one. The canvas is full. Every story that can be told has been told. There is a deep sense of peace in this saturation. It implies a kind of completeness. Nothing more needs to be added. Nothing needs to be taken away. Callisto has reached a state of perfect equilibrium with the universe. As we float over this ancient terrain, we see that it is not violent. It is still. The craters are not sharp, jagged wounds. Over billions of years, they have softened. They have slumped. They look like old, gentle valleys. The most magnificent of these features is Valhalla. It is named after the great hall of the gods in Norse mythology, and it is truly fit for a legend. Valhalla is not just a crater. It is a multi-ring impact basin, the largest of its kind in the solar system. It stretches across the surface for nearly 3,800 kilometers. Imagine throwing a heavy stone into a still, dark pond. You watch the ripples spreading out from the center, circle after circle, expanding toward the shore. Now, imagine that in the exact moment those ripples formed, the water froze. The motion was captured in ice for eternity. That is Valhalla. A series of concentric ridges frozen in the crust, a fossil of a motion that happened when the world was young. It is a monument to the fluidity of ice. It reminds us that even something as hard as stone can flow like water, given enough time and energy. Drifting further, we see strange, bright knobs standing in the darkness. These are the eroded remains of ancient crater rims. Over eons, the dark ice around them has sublimated. It has turned directly from solid to gas, vanishing into the thin atmosphere. This leaves behind the bright, rocky materials standing like silent sentinels on the plains. It is a slow, ghostly process, a landscape that is fading away, atom by atom, into the void. And what lies beneath this scarred surface? Unlike the other moons, which have separated cleanly into layers of core, mantle, and crust, Callisto is different. She never fully woke up. Her interior is a mixture of rock and ice that has never completely separated. It is a slushy, primordial soup that has remained largely unchanged since the birth of the solar system. However, even here, in this frozen stillness, there is a secret. The Galileo spacecraft, as it flew past, detected a subtle disturbance in Jupiter's magnetic field. It was a hint, a whisper, that suggested electricity was flowing somewhere inside the moon. This implies that even Callisto, the dead moon, might harbor a salty ocean deep beneath her crust. But this ocean is different from Europa's. It is deeper, buried under perhaps 150 kilometers of ice. It is colder. It is quieter. It is not heated by the tidal dance that warms Io and Europa, because Callisto orbits too far away to feel that rhythmic squeeze. The only heat here comes from the slow decay of radioactive elements in the rock, a gentle warmth that has lasted for billions of years. It is likely a lonely ocean, dark and still. Conditions for life here are less favorable than on the other moons, but that does not make it less beautiful. It is a hidden reservoir of solitude. Because Callisto is so quiet, and because she orbits so far from Jupiter, she offers us something the other moons cannot: safety. Jupiter is surrounded by a fierce belt of radiation, a storm of invisible particles that will be deadly to any traveler. But Callisto orbits just outside this danger zone. The radiation levels here are low, thousands of times lower than on Europa. This makes Callisto a sanctuary. In the distant future, when humanity travels to the outer solar system, it is here that we will likely build our first home. We will not land on the radiation-soaked ice of Europa. We will land here, on the stable, ancient ground of Callisto. We can imagine a small dome sitting on the grey ice, under the light of the stars. It would be a place of rest for weary astronauts. They would look up and see Jupiter in the sky, a beautiful banded marble, close enough to admire but far enough away to be safe. Callisto is the harbor. It is the outpost. It is the solid ground at the edge of the great emptiness. There is a comfort in knowing that such a place exists. A place that is geologically stable, where the ground does not shake, where the volcanoes do not erupt. A place that is simply there, reliable and constant. As we finish our survey of this ancient world, we feel a sense of completion. We have seen the fire of Io. We have seen the water of Europa. We have seen the magnetism of Ganymede. And now, we have seen the stone memory of Callisto. The family is complete. We gently push away from the surface of the ancient witness. We rise up, leaving the craters and the ridges behind. The moon shrinks below us, turning back into a speckled sphere in the darkness. We drift back toward the center. We have one final destination on this journey. We must return to the king himself. But this time, we are not just looking at the clouds. We are going to look through them. We are going to join the spacecraft that is currently orbiting the giant. We are going to see Jupiter through the eyes of Juno. We are going to look at the poles, and we are going to dive deep, down into the metallic heart of the world. The journey is nearly done, but the deepest mystery awaits. Let us drift back inward, carried by the gravity that holds it all together. We return now from the quiet, cratered solitude of Callisto. We let gravity gently pull us back inward, past the magnetic shield of Ganymede, past the white ice of Europa, and past the volcanic fires of Io. We drift back to the center of it all, to the king himself. But this time, we are not just observing from a distance. We are going to look closer than anyone has ever looked before. We are going to peel back the layers of the painting and see the canvas underneath. To do this, we need a guide. And floating here, in the vast emptiness just above the cloud tops, we find one. It is a machine, built by human hands. But out here, it looks like a creature of the void. It is the Juno spacecraft. It arrived at Jupiter on the 5th of July, 2016, after traveling billions of kilometers through the dark. It is a beautiful object, spinning slowly and rhythmically like a celestial dancer. It has 3 massive solar panels that stretch out like the wings of a windmill, catching the faint sunlight to power its instruments. Because the sunlight here is 25 times fainter than on Earth, these wings must be enormous. As Juno spins, it stabilizes itself, turning like a comforting fidget spinner in the hand of the cosmos. Juno is on a daring path. Unlike previous travelers that stayed far away, Juno dives in. It performs a wide, elliptical orbit that brings it skimming just 4,000 kilometers above the clouds. It dips beneath the dangerous radiation belts, threading the needle between the planet and the storm, finding a safe passage where the radiation is 10 times lower than expected. Let us drift alongside this brave little scribe as it begins its dive over the poles. For centuries, humans only saw Jupiter from the side. We saw the horizontal stripes, the belts, and the zones. But Juno has given us a new perspective. It has flown over the North and South Poles, looking down from above, and what it found there was not order, but a beautiful, geometric chaos. Gone are the neat, straight lines of the equator. At the poles, the atmosphere blooms into a garden of cyclones. These are not random storms. They are arranged in stunning, symmetrical patterns. At the South Pole, there are 5 storms arranged in a pentagon, circling a single central cyclone. At the North Pole, there are 8 storms arranged in an octagon. They are massive spirals of wind, turning in perfect unison, like a flower that never wilts. The colors here are different too. The familiar reds and browns of the equator fade away. The poles are painted in deep shades of blue. It is a twilight realm, where the shadows are long and the light is cool. These storms have been churning there for years. Stable and enduring, a permanent crown for the king. But Juno does not just look with eyes, it listens. It carries an instrument called a microwave radiometer. This allows it to peer through the thick, opaque clouds of ammonia, looking deep into the atmosphere, much like an X-ray sees through skin. As we descend with Juno's vision, we discover that the roots of the clouds go deep. The great red spot is not just a surface blemish. Its roots extend down over 300 kilometers, warmer at the bottom than at the top. And in this deep atmosphere, strange weather is happening. High up in the clouds, where the temperature drops to minus 80 degrees Celsius, a unique kind of rain is falling. It is not water rain, and it is not snow. Scientists call them mush balls. Imagine a mixture of ammonia and water, freezing into a slushy, hail-like substance. These mush balls grow heavy and fall silently through the dark clouds, melting as they go deeper, releasing their ammonia back into the vapor. It is a slow-motion slush storm, falling eternally in the dark. There is lightning here too. But unlike the lightning on Earth, which comes from water clouds deep down, this lightning is shallow. It flashes high up in the altitude, a silent flicker of electricity in the ammonia haze. We sink deeper. Now, we leave the weather behind. We leave the gas behind. As we descend thousands of kilometers into the body of the planet, the pressure begins to mount. It becomes immense. It becomes crushing. The hydrogen gas that makes up the bulk of the planet is squeezed so tightly that it can no longer remain a gas. It changes state. It becomes a liquid. We are entering the largest ocean in the solar system. But this is not an ocean of water. It is an ocean of liquid metallic hydrogen. This is a concept that stretches the imagination. Hydrogen, the simplest element, the stuff of stars, is pressed until it acts like a metal. It conducts electricity. It flows like mercury. This metallic ocean makes up 80 to 90% of Jupiter's radius. Imagine drifting in this dark, heavy sea. It is dense, it is hot, and it is moving. Currents of liquid metal swirl and flow in the deep darkness. And as they move, they generate a powerful magnetic field. This is the dynamo of Jupiter. This swirling metal ocean is the engine that creates the invisible shield protecting the moons, the force that lights up the auroras, the power that sings into the void. Juno has mapped this magnetic field and found it to be lumpy and uneven. There is a spot, the Great Blue Spot, where the magnetism is intensely concentrated. It shows us that the flow of metal down here is complex, changing over time in a process called secular variation. We are deep in the belly of the giant now. We are approaching the very center. For a long time, scientists thought Jupiter had a small, solid core of rock and ice, like a cherry pit inside a fruit, a hard, defined center. But Juno has taught us that Jupiter is softer than that. The gravity data suggests that the core is fuzzy. It is diluted. It seems that the rock and ice have dissolved into the metallic hydrogen, mixing together like sugar dissolving in warm water. There is no hard surface to land on, not even at the center. There is no sharp boundary where the ocean ends and the rock begins. It is all a gradual transition. The planet gets denser and hotter and heavier, but it remains fluid. It is a beautiful thought to carry into sleep. The heart of the largest planet is not a hard stone. It is a blend. It is a solution. It is a mixture of elements existing in a state of high-pressure harmony. Jupiter is a world without edges. The gas becomes liquid. The liquid becomes metal. The metal becomes rock-infused soup. It is one continuous flowing entity, and so we have reached the end of our inward journey. We are floating in the heart of the king. Here, the pressure is comforting. Here, the heat is eternal. Here we are held by the gravity of 1,000 Earths. We have seen the clouds that paint the surface. We have seen the storms that watch the sky. We have seen the fire of Io, the ice of Europa, the shield of Ganymede, and the memory of Callisto. And now we have seen the liquid metal heart that beats beneath it all. It is time to ascend. It is time to let the buoyancy carry us back up, through the metal, through the liquid, through the rain of mush balls, through the ammonia clouds, and back out into the silent starlit vacuum of space. We return to our safe orbit, looking down one last time at the curved horizon of this magnificent world. We have been deep inside the giant. We have touched the liquid metal heart, felt the heat of the crushing pressure, and listened to the thunder of the deep ammonia storms. Now we let the buoyancy of the universe lift us up. We rise through the layers, lighter and lighter, until we break the surface of the clouds once more. We return to the silence of space. But before we say goodbye to this kingdom, there is one final secret we must uncover. It is a secret that Jupiter kept hidden for centuries. When astronomers looked through their telescopes from Earth, they saw the stripes, they saw the great red spot, and they saw the 4 dancing moons. But they did not see this. It wasn't until the Voyager 1 spacecraft flew past in 1979, turning its camera back to look at the planet eclipsed by the sun, that the truth was revealed. Jupiter wears a crown. It possesses a system of rings. We are used to the rings of Saturn, those bright, icy, glorious bands that shine like neon in the dark. But the rings of Jupiter are different. They are shy. They are ghosts compared to Saturn's glitter. They are not made of bright ice that reflects the sun. They are made of dust. Imagine the finest, darkest dust you can conceive. Dust that is more like smoke than stone. These rings are so faint, so ethereal, that they are almost invisible. They are called the gossamer rings. Let us drift into their shadow. To see them, you must be in the perfect position. You must be behind the planet, looking back toward the sun. In this backlight, the dust catches the solar rays and glows softly, like dust motes dancing in a beam of afternoon light in an old, quiet room. There are 3 main parts to this delicate veil. Closest to the planet is the halo. It is a thick, fuzzy torus of dust that hangs over the cloud tops like a faint magnetic fog. It is influenced by the planet's powerful magnetic field, pulling the dust out of the flat plane and spreading it into a wide donut-shaped cloud. Then comes the main ring. This is the brightest part. The bright is a relative term here. It is a thin ribbon of dark rock, less than 30 kilometers thick. If you were floating inside it, you would not feel like you were in a field of boulders. You would feel like you were in a mist. The particles here are tiny, microscopic grains that have drifted away from the small inner moons, Metis and Adrastea. These 2 tiny moons are the shepherds. They orbit right at the edge of the ring and as meteors strike their surfaces, they release puffs of dust that feed the ring, replenishing it, keeping it alive. It is a cycle of giving. The moons give of themselves to create the halo for their planet. And finally, stretching far out into the distance, are the gossamer rings. These are the faintest of all. They are transparent sheets of material, incredibly thin, stretching out like a spiderweb that has been spun across the void. There is a profound humility in these rings. They do not demand attention. They do not shout for admiration. They simply exist, wrapping the giant in a layer of silence. They remind us that beauty does not always have to be bright or obvious. Sometimes beauty is hidden. Sometimes it is made of shadow and dust. Drifting through these rings is like drifting through a memory. They are transient. The dust spirals inward, slowly, over thousands of years, eventually falling into the planet's atmosphere to become shooting stars in the Jovian sky. But as old dust falls, new dust is born. The ring is a living, breathing entity, constantly changing, yet always remaining the same. But the rings are not the only things drifting in the outer dark. As we move further out, past Callisto, past the orderly domain of the Galilean moons, we enter the swarm. Jupiter is not just a planet, it is a solar system in miniature. While the 4 great moons are the nobility of this court, moving in perfect circular orbits, there is a chaotic, beautiful crowd of other objects that orbit further out. These are the irregular moons. There are dozens of them. 60, 70, perhaps more, that we have not yet counted. They are not round like Europa or Ganymede. They are jagged, lumpy, shaped like potatoes or broken stones. They are small, some only a few kilometers wide. They are the lost travelers. Most of these moons were not born here. They were asteroids, or perhaps dead comets, wandering through the solar system long ago. They passed too close to the giant and were captured by its gravity. They were wild things that were tamed, caught in the invisible net of the king. And because they were captured, they move in strange ways. Many of them orbit in retrograde. This means they move backward, opposite to the spin of the planet. While Jupiter spins one way and the big moons orbit that same way, these distant travelers march to the beat of their own drum, moving against the flow. They orbit at vast distances. Some take 2 Earth years to complete a single lap around Jupiter. They are so far away that from their surface, Jupiter would look like a small, bright marble, not a giant wall of clouds. Imagine sitting on the surface of one of these lonely rocks, perhaps Himalaya or Pasiphae. You are millions of kilometers from the center. It is quiet here. The sun is just a bright star. Jupiter is a lantern in the distance. You are drifting in the deepest, coldest part of the king's domain. These moons travel in groups, families of objects that share similar paths. Scientists believe these families are the remnants of larger moons that shattered long ago. They are the broken pieces of a forgotten history, drifting together through eternity. There is a comfort in this chaos. It reminds us that the universe is not always perfectly ordered. There is room for the strays. There is room for the wanderers. Jupiter, in its immense gravity, has created a home for these lost stones. It holds them close enough so they are not lost to the void, but keeps them far enough away so they can maintain their wild, irregular paths. It is a sanctuary for the misfits of the solar system. And connecting all of this, the rings, the moons, the swarm, and the planet itself, is a sound. We cannot hear it with our ears, for sound does not travel in a vacuum. But if we could hear radio waves, if we could tune our minds to the frequency of the cosmos, we would hear Jupiter singing. It is one of the loudest radio sources in the sky, second only to the sun. This sound is generated by the interaction of the magnetic field with the solar wind and by the electric current flowing from Io. It is called decametric radiation. To the instruments of astronomers, it sounds like ocean waves crashing on a shore, or like popcorn popping, or sometimes like a long, low whistle. It is the lullaby of the giant, a song that is broadcast across the solar system, traveling at the speed of light, touching every planet, every moon, every drifting speck of dust. As we prepare to leave, let us imagine that sound, transform it in your mind. Take the static, the whistles, and the hums, and smooth them out. Turn them into a deep, resonant om, a vibration that fills the space around you. It is the sound of presence. It is the sound of gravity asserting itself. It is the sound of a world that is awake so that you can be asleep. We are floating now at the very edge of the system. We can see the whole picture. We see the striped sphere of the planet, glowing in the center. We see the faint, ghostly halo of the rings. We see the 4 bright points of the Galilean moons: fire, ice, magnet, and stone. And surrounding it all, like a cloud of fireflies, we see the swarm of the irregular moons, drifting in their slow backward loops. It is a clockwork of immense complexity, moving in perfect silence. Every piece plays its part. The gravity pulls, the centrifugal force pushes. The heat rises, the cold sinks. The volcanoes erupt, the ice freezes. The dust gathers, the dust falls. It has been doing this for 4.5 billion years. It will continue to do this long after we are gone, long after we have woken up from this sleep. There is nothing you need to do to keep it moving. You do not need to worry about the orbit of Io. You do not need to check on the storms of the Great Red Spot. You do not need to hold the rings together. It is all being taken care of. The laws of physics are the caretakers. They are tireless. They are perfect. You can let go of your own need to control. You can let go of your own need to hold things together. Just for tonight, let your life be like the irregular moons. Let yourself drift. Let yourself be carried by a force larger than yourself. You are just a traveler, caught in the gravity of sleep. The swarm is moving slowly. The rings are glowing softly. The giant is spinning rhythmically. We are ready to go home. We are ready to leave this magnificent system and return to the quiet darkness of our own rest. The distance between us and the giant begins to grow. The details of the clouds start to blur. The moons merge back into points of light. The song fades to a whisper. We are drifting back across the asteroid belt, back toward the blue warmth of the inner solar system. But we carry the piece of the giant with us, and now the journey is drawing to a close. We have traveled billions of kilometers tonight. We have drifted through the asteroid belt, past the spinning rocks and the silent dust. We have visited the King of Planets and floated in his court. We have seen the storms that never end and the moons that never stop their dance. But now it is time to return. Feel yourself gently pulling away. The gravity of the giant releases you, handing you back to the soft, welcoming gravity of your own bed. The massive, striped face of Jupiter begins to shrink in the distance. It transforms from a wall of clouds into a sphere, and then from a sphere into a bright, steady star. As it recedes, the roar of the winds fades into silence. The heat of Io's volcanoes cools into a memory. The creaking of Europa's ice softens into a whisper. The hum of Ganymede's magnetic field dissolves into the stillness. You are drifting back through the velvet darkness of space, carrying with you a profound sense of peace. You have witnessed something magnificent tonight. You have seen that the universe is vast and structured and beautiful. You have seen that there is order in the chaos. The storms of Jupiter may look turbulent, but they are governed by laws that are stable and true. The moons may be pulled in different directions, but they find a rhythm that keeps them safe. There is a comfort in knowing that this great machinery continues to turn, even when you are not watching. The great red spot will continue its slow, counterclockwise rotation while you sleep. The plumes of Io will continue to rise and fall in the silence while you dream. The ocean of Europa will continue to ebb and flow under its shell of ice while you rest. The rings of dust will continue to glow in the backlight of the sun while you breathe. You do not need to hold the universe together. It holds itself. And because you are part of this universe, because you are made of the same stardust that built the giant, it holds you too. You are not just a passenger on Earth. You are a participant in this cosmic dance. But for now, your part in the dance is simply to be still. Your role is to let go. We are back in the inner solar system now. The blue light of Earth appears on the horizon, a warm and familiar beacon. You are descending slowly, passing through the atmosphere, returning to the room where you lay. Feel the weight of your body returning. But it is a good weight. It is the feeling of being grounded. It is the feeling of sinking into comfort. Your mattress rises up to meet you, supporting every muscle, every bone. The blanket covers you like the protective atmosphere of a world. The images of the journey are fading now. They are becoming soft and blurry, like watercolor paintings left out in the rain. Let them dissolve. Let the facts and the figures melt away. You do not need to remember the numbers. You do not need to remember the names. All you need to remember is the feeling of being small but safe, the feeling of drifting in a vast, quiet ocean of stars. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too. And now, let all of that drift away. There is nothing left for you to do. The day is over. The journey is complete. The exploration is finished. Your mind has done enough work for today. It has traveled far. It has learned, and it has wandered. Now, it deserves to rest. Let your breathing become slow and deep, matching the rhythm of the tides we saw on Europa. In and out. Slow and steady. Let your thoughts become like the clouds of Jupiter, drifting by without resistance. Do not hold on to them. Just watch them pass. They are just weather. You are the planet. You are the solid, stable core beneath the clouds. The darkness behind your eyelids is the same darkness that fills the space between the stars. It is not empty. It is full of peace. It is full of potential. It is the canvas upon which your dreams will be painted. Rest in the knowledge that mystery itself is a kind of lullaby. The questions we cannot answer are not burdens. They are invitations to let go of our need to know and simply to be. The universe will continue its dance. The stars will continue their long, slow orbits. You can let go. Close your eyes, rest, and dream of a quiet, radiant sea of stars. Good night.